Well, good afternoon. It is our weekly lectionary devotional. We are in the season that follows Epiphany. You'll notice that the color is green, which stands for growth. And this season that follows Epiphany talks a lot about the mission of Jesus. What was Jesus' mission? And so we're going to take a look at that, but we're also going to find ourselves in some other scriptures, as you can see: Jeremiah 1, 4 through 10, Psalm 71, 1 through 6, 1 Corinthians 13, 1 through 13, and Luke 4, 21 through 30. We've had quite an interesting weekend. We had already, and we've had a big snowstorm. And so join with me as we read the scriptures this morning, or this afternoon. Jeremiah 1, 4 through 10. The Lord gave me this message. I knew you before before I formed you in your mother's womb. Before you were born, I set you apart and appointed you as my prophet to the nations. O sovereign Lord, I said, I can't speak for you. I'm too young. And the Lord replied, don't say I'm too young, for you must go wherever I send you and say whatever I tell you. And don't be afraid of the people, for I will be with you and I will protect you. I, the Lord, have spoken. Then the Lord reached out and touched my mouth and said, look, I have put words in your mouth. Today I appoint you to stand up against nations and kingdoms. Some you must uproot and tear down, destroy and overthrow. Others you must build up and plant. The Lord speaks to Jeremiah. It's interesting because this is very similar to the Jeremiah offers some objections to the Lord calling him. And don't we do that when the Lord calls us? We offer up objections. Moses did it. Jeremiah did it. And here we are reminded that if the Lord has called us to do something, we should do it. And if the Lord's calling us, He will help us out. I'm so glad that the Lord, so many times think we need to be qualified. But God doesn't necessarily, and this doesn't say that we shouldn't get what the education we need, do what our calling is, what we're called to do, but God will take care of qualifying you. Jeremiah 4, 1, 4 through 10. Great stuff as the Lord speaks to Jeremiah. Then we end up in Psalm 71. O Lord, I have come to you for protection. Don't let me be disgraced. Save me and rescue me, for you do what is right. Turn your ear to listen to me and set me free. Be my rock of safety where I can always hide. Give the order to save me, for you are my rock and my fortress. My God, rescue me from the power of the wicked, from the clutches of cruel oppressors. O Lord, you alone are my hope. I've trusted in you. O Lord, from my childhood, yes, you have been with me from birth. From my mother's womb, you have cared for me, and no wonder I'm always praising you. We have this psalm, and I love this, verse 5, especially in light of the Jeremiah passage. O Lord, you alone are my hope. I have trusted you, O Lord, from childbirth. The Lord has formed us. The Lord knows all about us. And we are to trust him from the day we're born all the way to the day we die. And he's been with us. He's cared for us. His mercies are new every morning, even when you have a big snowstorm like we did. Then the gospel, then we move ourselves to the epistle. Familiar, often read at weddings, 1 Corinthians 13. If I could speak all the languages of earth and of angels, but didn't love others, I'd only be a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. If I had the gift of prophecy, and if I understood all of God's secret plans and possessed all knowledge, and if I had such faith that I could move mountains, but didn't love others, I would be nothing. If I gave everything I have to the poor and even sacrificed my body, I could boast about it. But if I didn't love others, I'd have gained nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable. It keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices when the truth wins out. Love never gives up. Love never loses faith. Love is always hopeful and endures through every circumstance. Prophecy and speaking unknown languages and special knowledge will become useless, but love will last forever. Now, our knowledge is partial and incomplete, and even the gift of prophecy only reveals part of the picture. But when the time of perfection comes, these partial things will become useless. When I was a child, I spoke and thought and reasoned as a child, and when I grew up, I put away childish things. Now we see things imperfectly, like a puzzling reflection in a mirror. But then we will see everything with perfect clarity. All that I know now is partial and incomplete, but then I will know everything, just as God knows me completely. 3 things will last forever: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. Scripture that's often shared at weddings and really reminds us that what real love looks like. Jesus came because he loved us, and love is patient and kind and not boastful. It's not jealous. It's not proud. It's not rude. It does not demand its own way. All of these things are wrapped up when we say love came down. Jesus came down. Love incarnate. God incarnate came down. All these things are true. Keeps no record of wrong, and Jesus is a perfect example of that. So 3 things will last forever: faith, hope, and love. And we heard of the psalmist talking about hope. And we have faith, but love. We are called to love because it is the greatest. Finally, we find ourselves in Luke's gospel. Luke 4:21 through 30, right after Jesus has read from the prophet Isaiah. And then he began to speak to them, and he has just said this from last week: the scripture you've just heard has been fulfilled this very day. Everyone spoke well of him, and he was amazed by the gracious words that came from his lips. How can this be, they ask? Isn't this Joseph's son? Wait a second. How could this rabbi, he was in his own hometown. How could this Joseph's son be so smart? How could he be so intelligent? Isn't he from Nazareth? And then he said, you will undoubtedly quote me this proverb, physician, heal yourself, meaning do miracles here in your hometown like you did in Capernaum. But I tell you the truth, no prophet is accepted in his hometown. Certainly there were many needy widows in Israel in Elijah's time when the heavens were closed for 3.5 years and a severe famine devastated the land, yet Elijah was not sent to any of them. He was sent instead to a foreigner, a widow of Zarephath in the land of Sidon. And many in Israel had leprosy at the time, and the prophet of Elisha, but only one was healed, Naaman, a Syrian. Jesus is turning the tables, much like the story of the Good Samaritan. Jesus turns the tables. Jesus shows that this widow of Zarephath, a Gentile, the healing of Naaman, another Gentile. And he's not making the people too happy. And when they heard this, the people in the synagogue were furious. Jumping up, they mobbed him and forced him to the edge of the hill on which the town was built. And they intended to push him over the cliff, but he passed right through the crowd and went on his way. Love incarnate came, and he spoke the truth. Sometimes we like to say we're speaking the truth in love, but Jesus truly did speak the truth in love. And he came and he loved, and he showed us how to love, and he turned the tables on us the way we think. It says, Lord says, my ways aren't your ways. My thoughts aren't your thoughts. And so I think we really need to, and especially in this season of Epiphany, is to follow the ways of Jesus. Follow his example. People are going to say, yeah, oh yeah, isn't he from, wherever you are, that say he's nobody important. But God chose you. God chose you to share his message and to do his work. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord.